Hi everyone, often when it comes to reviews, I kinda wanna look back at phones that have been released the same year or the previous year. But this time we're gonna stick to what was released in 2023 and we're gonna talk about the Vivo X90 Pro and how it held up. This is my long-term review of it. Now for those who know my new channel through Jermaine's Lens, I focus a lot on camera when it comes to reviews. This is why I'm going to split it. When it comes to ConceptsCreator channel, I'm gonna do long-term reviews with more based on specifications, see how battery life is and so on. With through Jermaine's Lens, I'm gonna make a video purely based on the camera and how that holds up. Either way, let's dive into this Vivo X90 Pro and see what is good about it and where I feel like Vivo can improve a little bit. So let's begin with software, because this is of course a big part of your experience when it comes to phones. Updates and so on really matter. Now this is of course the Vivo X90 Pro global version that runs on FunTouch OS, which is running on top of Android 13. In my longer term use, the software experience has been fine. It runs smooth, I don't have any lag experience and neither do I have any weird issues so far. The one thing that I would say that they changed for the good compared to the beginning is that I would get an ad every single time that I installed a game. That however is now limited. I don't mind it too much having a screen afterwards with several apps showcasing, but when I get a notification for it, that isn't that nice. And that has been very much limited. I don't remember the last time that I had one. In terms of updates, I get plenty of updates in between, so it seems to be good so far. But we're gonna have to stick with the phone a little bit longer to see how it goes when we get, for instance, Android 14 and Android 15 and so on. Now when it comes to battery life, after a while it isn't an easy one. It really depends on the use. If you take pictures and videos or just browse your phone, it will hold up well, with of course quickly charging up if you need to. But in those situations it will be around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, with sometimes reaching 8 when I don't take as much pictures or videos. However, play games and the story changes, with it being about 5 hours of screen on time and sometimes less. And this is simply because of the heat that the phone produces. Because of this, the phone can get really toasty and this is never good for the performance. Talking about performance straight away, how does the Dimensity 9200 perform? Well, in general, again, I would say it's perfectly fine for everyday use. And we go back to the no lag experience that I've had so far. But it does fall short in terms of gaming. It gets hot and therefore not the most comfortable in terms of experience, and sometimes you do get dropped frames when you play a longer game. Which, like a lot of people in this case, I had the Vivo X90 Pro Plus because of course that comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. But overall the performance of the Dimensity 9200 in day-to-day life performance is good, including of course the camera experience, which is something that we're gonna discuss now. Through Jermaine's Lens, I really want to focus on the camera itself. We're not going to miss that on this section either. We're not going to not focus on it because it's still a big part of a phone. And therefore, this section will be about the camera performance. How is it? Especially with, of course, that 1-inch sensor inside the Vivo X90 Pro. That is really good. So, let's dive into some pictures and talk about them. So let's quickly look at the camera specifications for the Vivo X90 Pro before we dive into video recording and of course still shots as well. We get a 50.3 megapixel main camera with a 1.8 aperture and its 23mm equivalent. When it comes to the telephoto, we get a 50 megapixel sensor with a 1.6 aperture and 50mm equivalent. The sensor is a 1/2 inch sensor. Then we have an ultra wide, which is the 12 megapixel sensor with a 2.0 aperture and 60mm equivalent. Of course, all of these have their size T lens coating as well. When it comes to video recording, you can record up to 8K and 24 frames per second. You can of course record 4K and 1080p at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. And then when it comes to the front facing camera, which I hardly ever use, is a 32 megapixel with a 2.5 aperture and it's 1/2 inch sensor size, max video recording at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Recording at 4K and 60 frames per second. Can you zoom out? No, I cannot. Above them. Oops. Just to see a bit of the difference in terms of approach. Off recording 4K 30 frames per second to see how they do with switch audio and so on. course horizontal as well. Again, a very different approach. At least on the phone itself, it looks very, very different in terms of video recording. Interesting. So at the end, would I recommend the Vivo X90 Pro even after using it for quite a while? Yes, I think there are some really good things about the Vivo X90 Pro. Still, do I think that the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is the one that you should get if you can? Yes, because it does have that better fingerprint scanner that definitely is helpful, and it does have a better CPU. The Dimensity 9200 can get really toasty, especially while playing games. This is the one thing where I would say that the Vivo X90 Pro definitely loses out to something like the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, the Xiaomi 13 Pro and some other devices, because it does definitely get hot with the Dimensity 9200. Apart from that, when it comes to the camera, I think this phone holds up really well. Yes, does it have the best supporting cameras compared to some others? No, but on the other hand, I don't think they're bad by any means. There's still really good camera sensors overall, and I can take some really good shots with it. When it comes to the Vivo X90 Pro, I think it's an excellent device. There are some things that I would like to see better, and we're gonna see, of course, how well it does in long-term support with software updates, but so far it seems to be fine. Either way, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Can I recommend it? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're playing a lot of games, I'd probably skip it and go for a different phone because of the CPU inside getting quite toasty. This is probably one of the hottest phones that I've had. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this long-term review of the Vivo X90 Pro.